good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Welcome back to our podcast, Who Knows?
And who knows what we're gonna talk about today? I do.
Emilou just came up with a topic to talk about motivation.
Yes.
So you go, girl.
I thought about talking
First of all, how are you doing, by the way? Because I haven't seen you for, some hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had a rough sleep. I couldn't really fall asleep until very late last night, so it took me a bit to come back to reality this morning. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, doing good as well. It's funny how because I'm so fired up in the morning. That's when my brain is working. Today I woke up at 4:30. I'm just lying there in bed because I refuse to get up. It's before the rooster and the birds are even, or the sun.
At 4:30.
Yeah, and then I was lying there and I came up with two really excellent ideas, and I can't wait for you to wake up because it was about the pod and what we're going to do with it, and now we're going to put the podcast on Substack. And I couldn't wait for you I wanted to hear your thoughts. So I'm WhatsApping you to your room going, are you up? And you're like, yeah. And I said, I got a really good idea. Can I come in? You were like, yeah, please come, but with not too much energy.
Because so many times you can come into my room and you're just, because you've been up for so long, you're just like, hi, let's get started, let's get the day going, da da da. And I'm just like, I just woke up, I'm barely in this earthly
No, I know,
plane.
and I've been up for like 6 hours at least. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, but just like calmly and quietly, please.
And I came in whispering.
You did.
Yeah. And I'm happy you agreed with the idea. So actually, I can tell you about it now because then everybody knows.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, we haven't set it up yet, but from this episode onwards, we will have a little bit of extra for our paid subscribers
just
on
some
Substack.
Extra footage and maybe some like deeper convos, or I don't know. Convos.
Conversations.
Convos. It's the teen in me coming out.
Okay. No, absolutely. And on Substack, it's really easy as well to join in the chat and comments. And it's an amazing platform, which it's where we will collect all our podcasts, basically.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for the upcoming episodes in the description, because the link will be there when we're done.
Yeah, because then it's easy as well to just subscribe. So whenever we post a new one, which we do every Thursday, it will be on there as well. So we will probably release the ones on Substack on Thursday and maybe on YouTube on Friday. So there's one day before on Substack. Yeah.
And back to the topic of motivation. I thought about talking, because we were sitting here figuring out like what topic we should talk about today, and I wanted to go a bit like find a topic that delves a little deeper, I feel, because like we said when we started this podcast, is that we're going to go on all different planes and talk about all different things. And I feel motivation is it has so many levels to it.
For sure.
I feel, because it's different for every individual person, and it's like it varies in between like how you get motivation, what makes you feel unmotivated, how do you get out of that unmotivation, and all those levels. So I'm going to ask you, since you always ask me.
Okay.
What do you do when you feel like so unmotivated that you don't want to do anything, but you like, what do you do to push yourself to start working or whatever you're feeling?
Nothing.
No,
I lean into it and relax, no, and
Yeah.
hope for the best. No,
That
joking
comes
aside.
acceptance.
Yeah. Actually, I do that sometimes because I'm pretty well good at pushing myself in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But so I do relax into it sometimes when I have no motivation whatsoever, because motivation and inspiration for me goes a lot hand in hand. Not
Yeah.
always, but a lot hand in hand. And if, for example, I'm writing my newsletter and if I'm not inspired or motivated, or then there's nothing, it doesn't come out good.
Yeah.
Then it's forced. It's like Dad says when he's talking about doing art or whatever, you can't force it.
Yeah.
It just needs to come. But motivation when it comes to, for example, working out, yeah, all right, how do I motivate myself there? For example, I love having a strong body. I really do, and I've had it. Now I'm kind of in between, fluffy and strong. Because every time we have visitors, all the years in Spain, as soon as we have visitors coming from wherever, I just relax and I don't work out and I eat and drink whatever I want in any times I want, in the middle of the night or whatever, when, we have friends over. So I always kind of lose that motivation when we've had friends over to work out. But now, so that's why I'm saying I'm in between now. So I've just started working out again this week, actually. Which feels good, but it takes energy. I need to pull it all the way from my toes, it feels like, to actually get going. And I don't know where that motivation comes from, but I think for me, when it comes to my body, I want to be healthy. When it comes to other things, what motivates me, I don't know. It could be anything. It could be sorting out, because I'm such problem solution focused person. So solving problems for other people, for friends, that's a motivator. Money could be a motivator, depending on in what field. So yeah, that's a rough thing around motivation and me. And what about you?
Well, I've struggled with finding motivation.
Really?
Well, they don't know, but
I'm just being sarcastic.
I have struggled with motivation very much for too long of a time. And it's been hard because I just, like you said, I think motivation comes hand in hand a lot with inspiration and creativity and things like that. And I just haven't found anything that kind of gets me going like that. That's like, yeah, I really want to do this. Like, let's go. Like, I can't find anything like that. And if I do, it's for a very short amount of time and it's not very consistent. So I can very easily start something, but to continue that and finish it for however long it goes on, you have this issue too.
Yeah.
Of finalizing whatever project or
getting bored easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit of a problem, that, actually.
Yeah. And I think, that's kind of a conversation on its own, because I think that's got a lot to do with how the internet has kind of rewired our brain, and how it's like, okay, everything has to be like this.
Too fast, quick. We're restless minds.
And if something takes a little longer, then we're like, oh, well, whatever. Like,
but I do think, sorry for interrupting, but I do think that what you have found now that you're actually doing with the readings, I can't see how that can be boring, because it's different every time you do a reading. So it feels like you found something that you're not going to get bored with.
Yeah, the readings have really kind of opened my eyes to that motivation that I've been lacking so much for so many years, because it's truly something that I do enjoy doing, and I'm like very grateful to be able to guide and help people in whatever way I can with these readings. And I think it's because it's such a like shared comforting experience for both of us, both me and the recipient. How do you say it? Receiver?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it's the readings is for sure something that does motivate me, and I do enjoy doing. But until, like, because we only thought of the whole readings idea. I mean, the reading idea kind of just came up out of nowhere. We just had my cousin over, and I did a reading for her and her boyfriend, and then
it started
suddenly,
spreading.
Yeah. So it was very
I love when it happens like that. It's like the universe is guiding, or it's perfect.
Yeah, so I think that's a big reason why I do enjoy it so much, because every time I've looked for something or researched or like tried to force myself into something, it's just never worked, because it's like, okay, I'm doing this because I feel like I have to do things, not because I want to do them, you know? But yeah, I mean, when it comes to motivation, I've never really found a way to motivate myself, because I mean, motivation is, I think, a big struggle with everyone, I think. I mean, I've never heard someone say, yeah, I'm easily motivated to do certain things, depending on what that is, you know?
Yeah.
But like, for example, if it's like, I'd say most people don't really enjoy getting into working out.
True.
And I'd say most just, you hate generalizing, and I love it. So
well, I do. I still do myself, so yeah.
But, like, we take this percentage of people, they find it hard to get that motivation into working out. And that's, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Me neither. You started off, well, it doesn't really matter, but you were talking about how do you find, I was asking, how do you find your motivation?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you work on it? What do you do? Have you got any tools to actually get out of bed and get motivated?
I try to do kind of small things instead of
one step at a time things.
Yeah, I mean, instead of going out and trying to tackle the big thing all at once and just getting overwhelmed and wanting to quit right then and there, I kind of take it step by step and do things that are like very unrelated to that. Like I will start writing a little song on my ukulele, or I'll draw something, or just usually something creative, because that just gets my mind going, and then I'm like, oh, I can do this. But when it comes to actually taking that first step into doing the big thing, that takes a lot, and I feel like I need a lot of external support for it too, because if I just try to do it fully alone, I think I just kind of look at it and be like, oh, that's terrifying, and just crumble into a little ball on the floor. But yeah, I think a lot of motivation for me comes from like external support and people around me, because, for example, a lot of my motivation when I was looking for jobs and things like that, I would think about my friends in Spain and going back to Spain and getting that closure that I've wanted since we moved here. That was kind of my motivation, because I was like, okay, this is something that I really want, and the only way that this is going to happen is if I do this.
It's going back to having a strong why.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah, but that it's a struggle for me, and I can't really pinpoint why. Because I've tried so many different things to kind of get myself out of it, and I've tried pushing myself in different ways, but it's that constant of like, okay, we do this, and then I try continue, but eventually it's just like, oh, it just kind of fades. Like I can, like, I don't have that big of an issue to start.
Start is easy.
Yeah, it's just the whole continuing that's so exhausting.
Well, yeah, and it takes some stamina, and
Yeah.
to build up that stamina, and I think everybody needs to just carry on, and it is going to be boring for a while, and it is going to be exhausting, and it is going to be frustrating, and all
Yeah.
that, depending on what it is. I mean, working out, you're in pain like hell in the beginning, which is awful. But after a while, it's like that pain then becomes something really nice.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same with, I mean, I'm in the middle of learning different programs, tech at the moment, which is really has been a phobia in my life.
Yeah.
But my why is so strong, and I put my mind to it that I'm not going to bother Dad or our webmaster or anybody with this, that I'm going to do it on my own.
Independent woman.
Yeah, but but I did get stuck, and I did ask for help at the end, but it was only a tiny bit. But the motivation there for me, that was the why, I think. Why am I doing this, and why? So yeah, motivation is connected with to have a why for me, and inspiration, and procrastination, of course. You know, that one, I think that comes and goes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so easy. Somebody says, oh, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Get away from work and do this. But I mean, I do work that I enjoy doing, so that's a blessing.
Yeah. I think it's a big thing with, like, just anyone struggling with motivation is that you get stuck at looking at this, like tower. Say that this tower is your goal, and at the top of the tower is your goal, and you're looking at this tower and you're like, how am I gonna get up there? It's like the task seems impossible, and it's such a typical thing to say, and all these life coaches say that you just have to take one step at a time and take it easy and da-da-da-da. But I feel that varies a lot, again, on each individual, because you can take steps, but at the same time, even those steps can feel like towers.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And also you can take a step and then you fall 2 backs down.
Yeah. I mean, backtracking and making mistakes, that's just the part of growth in all areas of life.
But one motivation that I find is so interesting for me anyway, if I take myself out of the equator and I do something that has got really nothing to do with me, and like charity work or take charity for example, then that motivation is there almost 100% of the time,
right?
because I'm not connected to the outcome
Yeah.
or having any type of degree. Oh, I need to do it like this good, or if 10 is the best, I don't have a so it's funny that way, because I was listening to a podcast yesterday, or a talk actually, it was on doesn't matter, but he was talking about he succeeded everywhere else, and then he set up a goal that within 5 years he was going to do this huge task, and he put a number on it that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he reached it in 2 years, because for him it was just, he wasn't involved him as a person,
Mm.
or he wasn't out to get the goal or the benefits or the
Yeah.
reward or anything like that, then the motivation is so easy. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, no, because that's something that always frustrated me, because whenever you and Dad told me to do something, or I needed to help a friend with something, or whatever it is that was for someone else, I'm immediately on my feet. I'm like ready to go. I'm like, okay, where are we going? What are we doing?
Wow. When Dad and I ask you,
What?
no, 9 times out of 10 you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that 1 out of 10 is just a really shitty day, and I
and I
can't
think
do it.
absolutely. But when it comes to friends, you're there 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't know, that's something that really frustrates me, because I'm like, I look at that and I'm like, I can do things like without a doubt in my mind for other people
So much easier.
so easily, but why is it such a struggle when it's something for me?
Yeah, interesting.
It's so weird.
Do you think? No, maybe not. Do you think it's got something to do with self-love or
I think it has
self-respect or self-esteem?
so
or,
many levels to it.
Or I know you hate this word, but I need to bring it up because I can see it in myself. Laziness, or, you know.
I don't agree with that word, so
No, I know you don't, but it's there.
What do you mean?
Even Buddha talked about laziness.
Yeah, but okay, anyway. I think it has many levels to it. I think it's because it's not like doing things for other people is easier because it doesn't affect you in any way.
No, it just makes you feel good, basically.
Yeah. It can't really affect you in a negative way. But if you do things for yourself, that can very easily affect you.
Fear of failure, maybe.
Oh, 100%.
Or is it fear of success? A lot of people have that as well.
Because I'm not trying to sound arrogant at all when I say this, but I will. So fair warning that I feel that I've always been fairly average or above average at most things. Like, I can pick up things I just adapt to whatever I'm doing and I figure it out and it works.
You learn easy.
And with doing that my whole life and just kind of being able to pick things up fairly quickly, when I do something and it doesn't go as quick as I think it's like gonna go, then I'm like, okay, but like, what? Like, this isn't how it's supposed to go. Like, my brain gets so confused because that's not the usual thing that happens. So I'm like, okay, but no, then I don't want to do it. No, there's something wrong. Like, it's not, nothing's happening right here. So like, let's just not do it because that's not how it's supposed to go, you know? And that's for sure one part of it. And I think another part of it is like a fear of disappointing myself, because I've set standards for myself, and I think a lot of people struggle with this too when it comes to motivation, is that you put these standards, and I am a perfectionist when it comes to certain things, and I need it to be this way, I need it to work this way, I need it to look this way, and if it doesn't, then I'm not happy with it, and it can just go in the trash until it gets to that point. So that's for sure another part of it.
Exhausting.
Yeah, it is. My brain is constant. It's horrifying. But yeah, I mean, I think there's many, many, many levels to it. I mean, we could talk about this for hours and just pick apart my brain as to why.
But do you think if you take fear of failure and fear of success, which one are you closer to?
It's an interesting question. Because I've never really thought about fear of success.
Oh, that's so common.
Yeah,
without even people don't even realize it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you hear, like, when you hear fear of failure, wow, that was a tongue twister. Fear of failure. you don't think twice about it. When you hear fear of success, then it's like, hold on, wait a minute.
No,
what?
because success has got so much. It's got responsibility.
Yeah.
Normally, people connect it with a lot of money if people are successful. But you can also be successful in just being completely whole within yourself and content and, you know, joyful and blissful within yourself, acceptance of that. And the success is so many. But normally, when people say, "Oh, she's so successful," then what people, now I'm generalizing, is normally, you know, she's living the lifestyle she wants, she has the money, she has the job, she has, you know, the perfect whatever. So that's why I think some people are afraid of success without even realizing, because most people want to have a certain quality of life. But then getting above that and be truly successful in all areas in life is a bit,
Yeah, I
can be.
mean, I'm not afraid of success when it comes to me and self-growth and things like that. I love it. Even the horrible and annoying and disturbing parts that are part of growth and learning and just becoming a better you. I love those pits because I know in those times that, you know, this is like, it's just a tiny little bump in this like huge cloud of incredibleness that's ahead.
It's too shall pass.
Yeah. So when it comes to working on myself, I'm not afraid of it at all because it's incredibly exciting for me to like learn more about myself, because I feel that's a big thing that people forget to do in life is...
But I want you to answer my question.
Yeah, I am. I'm on
Oh, okay.
But I think that, like, while you were talking, I was thinking about, like, what am I afraid of success? Like, what parts of it am I afraid of, if I am afraid of any? And I think the thing that popped into my mind, I mean, I haven't thought about it for that long, but the thing that popped into my mind is, as you know, I have a very weird and uncomfortable relationship with money, because to me, money is an incredibly powerful energy that, yes, it can be used for wonderful things, but I think the way that the energy of money changes people is very disturbing to me, and I'm very uncomfortable by it. And I think that's like, when you say, are you afraid of success, that's what pops into my head, is I'm afraid of money, I think, which is a very uncommon thing to say, but I really am. I'm afraid of like how people will see or treat me differently if I have a certain amount of money, or how I will act differently with said money, or how it's just, I don't, like, I've seen the way money can change people in very many different ways. Like, I've seen people do wonderful things with money and absolutely horrible things with money. And obviously I don't want to do anything like negative with the money that I get.
What do you think? Well, you trust yourself if you...
Yeah, but
I hope.
Yeah, but I just, it's a very intimidating, powerful energy in my mind that, yeah, I think that's, I mean, I'm going to think about it more now that you've said it, because I never, like, thought of the phrase, like, fear of failure.
But you directly associate success now with money.
Well, I
So
mean,
what else
I covered the area of success within myself.
Yeah.
And I mean success outside of like self-growth and things like that. I feel, yeah, in the physical world, success, most people see it as money and the amount of money you have and your expensive cars and your penthouse in LA and all these things. But yeah, what were you? What?
What?
I'm having a foggy brain day
Yeah,
today.
I can see, I can hear.
I didn't sleep
But you
good.
still haven't. You can't really answer the question because you have to figure it out a little bit more. If you're mostly, but maybe you're not afraid of failure and you're not afraid of success either. You're completely fine. I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying you. Of course, you're fine, but I'm not saying that you are either way. I'm just if you were leaning against one or the other, which one would it be? But if you can't reply, then then you have to think about it a little bit more. I can reply to the same question. I'm not afraid of success. I'm afraid of fame that I would hate.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's so comforting to just do this.
Yeah, fame is terrifying.
Yeah, when some people think that's success, that would be, that would be very hard for me. Actually, I wouldn't like it. That's why, that's why sometimes when Dad, he says, no, somebody says, "Oh, I'm gonna make it so you can fill Wembley or, in London and Dad's gonna be on stage." I'm like, ooh. Then I'm gonna have to hide and
Yeah.
because I tasted it actually a little bit when we were in Acapulco. It was on Acapulco. It's one of the biggest alternative media with lots of people, and it was 2,500 people there.
That's in Mexico, right?
That's in Mexico, yeah. So, and we step into this gigantic resort in Acapulco. And as soon as we step in, people are like, "Hi, Ole, you're Ole Dammegard, aren't you? Can we take a selfie?" And I'm like, okay. And then I was walking around by myself.
Yeah.
And people came up to me and like, "Oh, you're Kim, right? Ole's wife." And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I wasn't, in that environment, it was fine. But I got a tiny taste of it and I thought, ooh, not liking this so much. Dad, fine. But let me be incognito here in the background. So coming back to success and failure, I lean more against having fear of failure. I think. Well, I'm sure, absolutely sure, because I really, really don't like to fail.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I think
I'm
that's
so
where I've got it
competitive.
from.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm so competitive. I go crazy just when we play certain games. Sometimes I don't like to fail.
You turn into a different person.
So, yeah, I'm definitely not afraid of. Success. No, I'm absolutely fine with that. Failure, ooh, that wouldn't be. Yeah, that's why probably I keep on doing.
Yeah, I think that's what that could. Oh, now it makes sense.
Ooh, what?
Because you have a tendency to push yourself incredibly much, where me and Dad are.
I don't think so.
You don't think so, but me and Dad sitting on the sidelines watching you with a limp and like, I don't know, you like.
What do you mean limp?
No, but you could be injured and you could be sick, and if you
that's
if you have
that's just
anything
boring.
other than a fever, you're gonna continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Most people,
works.
if their like throat started hurting, they would immediately quit then and there until they're like healthy again. But you have a tendency to not be able to let your body relax when it needs to, I feel. And now it makes sense because you're afraid of failing, and I think that because of that you don't let yourself take like a chill pill every now and then. Because
maybe
you're like,
that's
no,
why
we gotta
I
go.
love sailing so much, because then I can I can't go anywhere. I just become one with the ocean, and I love being at sea. Then I relax. Love it.
I mean,
So that's why we need to be successful, so we can buy a boat.
what you do. I don't want a boat. You go
Well,
ahead.
you can come and visit us on the boat.
I'm good. I'll be under the boat.
Yeah, free diving.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting topic. This.
Yeah, I'm gonna
What
think
motivates people?
Yeah, and think about that because that's a very interesting question. I'm gonna be thinking about that for days now.
Success and failure.
Yeah, like, am I more afraid of failure or success? Like, that's a very, very interesting question. I love those kinds of questions. Just gonna be rummaging around my brain all day
Contemplating.
For, like,
well, you're gonna have to come back to me and let me know what you find out. Because normally, well, ask it before you go to bed. And then sometimes you have the answer when you wake up in the morning.
Oh, no. With my analytical brain, I'm going to be picking apart every piece of me and calculating which part goes into which category. And
you're quite strategic.
I'm very blue.
You're blue?
Yeah.
Well, you have to explain.
The context of that is there was this psychology book that was going around pretty much the entire family at one point.
Yeah, and it's been translated into...
Yeah, and this book is called Surrounded by Idiots, which I love that title.
Yeah, it's a very good book, actually.
And it basically explains that there's 4 different categories of like
people.
Different kinds of people. There's red, green, yellow, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Red people are very like dominant. They're very alpha. They are in charge. They like to do it their way, and like they're very like
Go.
passionate, aggressive at like energy. Yellow people are very like kind of narcissists. They not narcissists, but they love being the center of attention. They
bubbly.
Yeah, they're very like outgoing. They want everyone to have their eyes on them. They want to be like
opinionated,
the star of the show, you know? Then you have green people who are like more on the mellow side. They like to be in their own little bubble. They don't like change. They like doing their own
mainstream
thing.
Mostly.
Yeah, they're
people pleasers.
The outsider of the pack, kind of. And then you have blue people who are very analytical. They're good with numbers. They're very like precise, and they time things.
Strategic.
And, yeah, they're like, okay, if I have 5 minutes before lunch, I can go do this, that. Like, yeah. So I am a little bit blue.
Yeah, and in the book, just to say as well, it's not like one person is only one color.
No, absolutely
we're a
not.
spectrum of these, but
we all have a different percentage of each color.
Most of us have more, let's say, more red or more yellow or whatever. No, it was a fun book. That
I'm primarily green, but I know I have
blue,
the rest of the colors for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think about that book a lot, actually.
Yeah, maybe we should buy it here.
I have it in Spain.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know
but I'm going to Spain later this year, so I'll pick it up.
I'm not sure we're going to bring back books.
I will.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, think about if you're afraid of success or failure, think about what motivates you, and please share in the comments if you're comfortable.
Yeah, and interesting.
And as always, if you have any topics you'd like us to talk about, we will for sure.
Yeah.
If they're good topics.
But before we finish off here and go to Substack for a little bit of extra to our beautiful paid subscribers, I want to do the grateful things.
Yes.
So we don't forget them.
You go ahead.
Okay. I'm very, very grateful that I went paragliding yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That was so much fun.
God, that's terrifying.
Not for me. And I'm very, very grateful that we do this. And I'm also super grateful that I've started to work out again and finding that motivation.
Yeah. I am grateful that I have found something that I enjoy doing, which is the readings. It's something that I've been searching for a while, and I'm happy that I found something similar. I'm very grateful to have a bed, AC, food, water. It's such, like, I always say this, it's very easy to forget about those things, but it really is such a luxury to have on a daily basis. And I'm very grateful for our two gremlins, our cats. They really do just make this house a home, I feel.
Absolutely. So, if you're already if you're listening to this on Substack, feel free to join us on the next 10 minutes. And if you're listening on YouTube, you got the link below, so you can just click and subscribe. Lots and lots of love from us, and see you next time, if not on the other side of this, for another 10 minutes of the extra. Bye.